Hello and welcome back to YCFT. We'll continue talking about the man with the chainsaw, the man of many faces, Leatherface,
the man in the mask
himself, the man behind. Nope, that's a different franchise. That's Friday. This week, we are talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2003.
That's the right one, right?
Yeah, that is the right one. Obviously, the past 2 weeks we've talked about various ones.
Yes.
I had very fond memories of watching this one.
Yeah.
But it had been a very long time, and you'd never seen it.
Turns out I had seen some of this, but I'd never seen it all the way through.
Yeah. Again, in preparation for the new film coming out, I thought I want to rewatch this one. And I had a great time rewatching it, to be honest. You know what?
It's not a bad film at all, the 2003 one.
No, it's actually
pretty good.
It's actually pretty good.
It is, yeah.
So yeah, we'll see you next week. There we go. We're done. We're done with that. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet and you've been enjoying this this Texas Chainsaw journey we've gone on over the past few weeks, well, it's done now for a little bit, so.
Well, you know, it's been a fun ride.
It's been a fun ride.
Fun yarn.
So who was the director of this one?
The director of this was a guy called Marcus Nispel. It's a Platinum Dunes film.
Yeah. It was the first film done under Platinum Dunes.
It is.
Which is run by Michael Bay.
Mr. Bay himself.
Michael Bay himself. Mr. Explosions, Transformers, Bad Boys. He's into horror movies, apparently.
He is, yeah. All the best ones are.
Yeah. So he started Platinum Dunes.
Yeah.
Acquired the rights to Texas Chainsaw, and that was the first film they produced.
Yes.
And
what a start.
What a start. They got the cinematographer from the original one. What was his name again?
Daniel Pearl. He
came back. Because Marcus Nispel, he almost wasn't going to do this one.
Mm.
He didn't feel like rebooting it. He didn't feel like he could remake that film.
No, I think he was nervous about approaching Pearl as well.
I think it was Toby Hooper. He signed off on the idea.
Yeah.
And obviously produced it with Kim Henkel. Again, the cinematographer, his name keeps disappearing from me. He wanted to come back because you said he wanted to bookend his career with Texas Chainsaw films.
Begin it and end it.
He did his career.
Carried on. Yeah.
And he agreed to come on because it was very clear they weren't just doing a shot-for-shot remake. It was very much a reimagining. That's what this film is technically the very first reboot.
It is accidentally, I suppose.
Yeah, because it is like a remake. We have a video coming out next week about reboots, but this film it changes the mythology.
It does. It's not a straight up remake.
He wanted to come back on. He agreed to come back on because they were doing something so different. It gave him a chance to do something a bit different.
Yes.
And obviously, when Toby Hooper signed off on it, that's when Marcus Nispel was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? It's a really decent story.
It is.
Different characters.
Yeah, has a bit more of a plot than the original one.
It does. It does. All of them inevitably do.
Yeah.
I think it's not something that they've ever really been able to replicate from the original.
This film makes me almost as uncomfortable. Like we watch a lot of films, and when I think of films that make me feel uncomfortable, this one is the closest I ever get to the 1974.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot more blood in this.
This one is super gory.
But
super gory.
So many references back to the original.
Yeah.
This is a new story. It follows a lot of similar beats, but it feels things that feel very similar. It feels really warm. Everything's dirty. It doesn't touch on the cannibalism though.
No, it does not. And this is something that we've seen a lot. That they drop that sort of subplot in a lot of the sequels, a lot of the most recent films.
The ones we rewatched recently is obviously the original we watched 2003, 2013 and 2022. And there's no cannibalism in any of those films.
No. I don't know, this is just my guess, but I assume the filmmakers thought, well, if we're making it gory enough, we don't need the added threat of cannibalism.
We're not a fan of this film either, were they?
No, they were not.
They weren't. But audiences clearly were, because what was its budget?
Do you know what? I'm going to have to quickly Google this.
If I remember correctly, it's about 9 million.
Yeah, you were right. It's 9.5 million.
And am I right? I'm going to see if I guess this right. Was it about 116 million?
Slightly lower. It's
106.
107.4 million it grossed.
So it
did well.
Consider this a Platinum Dunes first movie.
Pretty good.
That is insane.
Yeah.
And it did kickstart a whole new generation of horror films.
It did. I think we've got to talk just a bit about the timeline of this film. Well, not in the film itself, but 2003. The world was not used to seeing these super gory horror films.
Yeah, super violent. Because we were coming out of like a very teen-oriented time of
in the
horror,
90s.
a lot of supernatural stuff.
I Know What You Did Last Summer. We had Scream. Scream was a bit gory, fair, but very teen-orientated.
Yeah. Because Scream came out like 10 years prior.
Yeah.
And so we had a lot of films inspired by Scream, but very teen-orientated films. And this film then comes out, I'd say the first reboot of an absolute classic, being panned by critics for being so violent. So people are like, I need to go see this film.
Need to see this movie.
I need to go see this film. And...
Yep.
Jessica Biel leads it.
Jessica Biel, who I don't think was totally unknown at the time.
No, she wasn't totally unknown.
But she kind of becomes our main character. She is our final girl. She is the protagonist of this movie.
And the main plot is that they are travelling back from Mexico.
Yes.
They've picked up a couple of hitchhikers in Mexico. People they've met, not hitchhikers, people they've met in Mexico. So not close friends, but friends. And it turns out a partner and this guy just met are bringing drugs over the border.
And
they pick up a hitchhiker.
Yes, they do.
Who's like a woman who's escaped who, again, this is major spoilers for this film. Not for the entirety, most of it.
This film is nearly 20 years old. It's fair game.
19 years old, yeah. In the UK, this film could drink for the past year.
Yeah.
Kills herself in the van.
This
is one of the things, like,
Okay.
When I'm watching it, I actually understand the plot, the decisions these characters make after this.
Yeah. This kill, I think actually everything leading up to this is so barbaric. It's a female hitchhiker this time. Obviously in the original, we have one of the brothers who's hitchhiking. This is just a young woman. She is clearly very disturbed. She's traumatized over something. They're trying to get it out of her what's up. She's very incoherent. She tells them they're going the wrong way, and then she pulls a gun out of her dress, which God knows how she's been holding that up there.
Yeah.
She tells them they're all going to die, and then she shoots herself through the mouth, and the camera then tracks
through the back of her head.
The back of her missing head. And it is so
that
horrible.
First shot has more blood in it than the entirety of the original film.
But it is so well done.
Yeah.
It looks incredible. I mean, it's horrible because you've obviously got like brain matter that's just scattered everywhere. Everyone else in the van is just, oh my God, what the hell has just happened? But man, does it kick off the film.
Oh God. Because then I said, I agreed that they're like, right, we need to call the police.
Yes.
But they can't, like, they go to the nearest gas station because they need gas. Again, I love this shot because it's dirty. You can see the beads of sweat off you because they did film this in Texas again as well.
Yeah, it's something that, they did well from the original film.
Yeah, I think having the original cinematographer on it really helped.
Yeah.
Like, it shows a lot of respect for the original and what made the original feel the way it felt. Overall, I'd say it's a much darker, even like to look at, it's a darker film.
It is. It is.
But it's like, it's the early 2000s. It's a change of style. They're not going to come back and do exactly the same as what they did last time. They
no, of course. Do something a bit different with it. Yeah.
And they call the sheriff.
They do call the sheriff.
The sheriff wants to meet them somewhere else.
Yes. So off they go to, it's like a barn, farmhouse area because the sheriff
basically... It's a mill, I think.
It's like a mill. Yeah.
And they after a while, because they see a little boy there.
Yeah. Very...
Jedediah Hewitt.
Jedediah, the name again, Jedediah, that keeps cropping up.
Yeah.
Little boy.
After a while, they generally have the conversation of, do we just leave this body here?
Yeah, the sheriff is taking a suspiciously long time to get to them.
Yeah.
And the boys on the trip think they should just leave the body, they need to get going. The girls are a little bit hesitant. They think, look, this poor girl was traumatized, we need to show her some respect.
Because Jedediah points them in the direction of a house where they can go and possibly use the phone.
Yeah.
So, what is the name of the lead character?
Jessica Biel's character.
Yeah.
I'm just going to call her Jessica Biel.
We're just going to follow Jessica Biel. We felt like her and her boyfriend do head towards this house.
It's not her boyfriend. Oh no, it is at first, isn't it? It is her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, I'm thinking of the scene later on.
Yeah. Oh, I know what scene you're...
Yeah. Yeah, they go to the house. And they are met with a guy called Monty,
Yeah.
who is in a wheelchair, and he only allows Jessica Biel into the house to use the phone.
Yeah.
And then we have a very uncomfortable sequences of him kind of leering at her and
Yeah, and
feeling
asking
her
for
up and
help.
pretending he's fallen out of the wheelchair just so he can touch her. And
Yeah, it's
not very pleasant.
it's very everything about this is uncomfortable, and that feels
It's
like
the point.
original.
That is absolutely the point. Yeah.
Yeah, when that door opens and Leatherface comes out, because the guy who plays him looks great. He's massive. We know from this one that the reason he wears the mask is because he's got disfigurement. It was some sort of like flesh-eating bacteria. He's like eating away at his face. There's a reason why he wears this face.
Yeah, he's played by Andrew Bronowski. That's the guy's name, and
Yeah.
Andrew apparently took this role very, very seriously.
Yeah. Well, they actually had to like pad him up as well.
Yeah, he's
Make
a
him
big
bigger.
guy, but yeah, they added
So it
weight
got
to
very
him.
warm.
I'm sure it did.
And so carnage ensues. But arguably, again, Leatherface isn't the most evil person in this film.
No,
There's more. This film expands on the family,
the Sawyer family.
when we meet-
yes.
the sheriff. Played by
We gotta talk about the sheriff, played by a guy called R. Lee Ermey.
anyone who has seen A Full Metal Jacket knows exactly who this
Yes.
guy is.
This guy just perfectly encapsulates like the seediness and the griminess of the original. Oh god, he is horrible. It's even like when I think he's chewing tobacco or something and he just
Yeah.
spits it out,
Yeah,
and you
'cause
can
he
see like
finally-
it dribbles.
He finally arrives,
and...
and there's just long extended scenes of wrapping the body up in cling film.
Oh, also, I mean, there's a shot where he's touching the body to put the cling film around it, and he clearly touches her breast.
Yeah, it's
You know,
he makes you so uncomfortable. He makes the
he's very sexually aroused by this dead girl's body.
yeah, and all the scenes with him in are just so uncomfortable. And
He's-
he's brilliant,
He is,
especially when you start to turn it on them, thinking that they might have killed her.
yeah,
But see when he
playing
has
mind games with
the
them.
other guy sit in the van and reenact.
Yeah, tell me
Oh.
exactly how she did it. Like, he's getting turned on by this. It's disgusting.
And you can feel how uncomfortable everyone is. It's
Yeah,
great.
he's a great actor.
Oh,
Great actor. He's also in The Frighteners, just for anyone who may have seen that film, the Michael J. Fox film.
Yeah.
He plays basically the same role as he did in Full Metal Jacket.
yeah. When the rest of the team meet Leatherface, well, he's cut the boyfriend's face off.
Yes.
We see him put a new face on.
Yes.
Can you imagine seeing your
dead boyfriend's face, who
Yeah.
she wasn't 100% sure was dead at that point. He's just missing. But
Yeah.
she sees his face on this guy, and it's really nicely shot, but it's
Yeah.
so spooky.
because because she leaves the house to try find him, can't find him, goes back with the other guy,
Yes.
the other friend.
He gets captured.
Yeah, he loses a leg.
He does lose a leg.
So yeah, Leatherface doesn't reveals himself to those two.
No. They slowly... Wait, what?
Yeah, when she goes back to the house with him, with the
Oh,
friend. That's when
yeah.
he comes out the door.
That's when he comes out the door. She
Yeah, so
gets
they-
away.
Yeah, they went there looking for a boyfriend.
Yeah. She gets away, and then he puts up a bit of a fight, and that's when he loses the leg.
Yeah,
Yeah. I remember.
yeah, and chasing through the laundry. Yeah, it looks incredible.
It does.
So there was real chainsaws on this, but they had a lot of chainsaws that just made noise.
Yeah. And
So
again,
it's a lot safer for him.
yeah, yeah, 100%. And a lot of daylight shots again in this.
Yeah.
Daylight kills. Just adds to the... I don't know why. Why are we so, like, perturbed by bad things happening in daylight?
Yeah,
It's like we just are inherently tuned to think that daylight, nothing can touch us. It's when...
daylight
it's
is
when
safe.
daylight is safe.
Once again, like most animals hunt at night.
Yeah, predators hunt at night. Not
Yeah.
this guy.
No. Yeah. So oh god. Yeah. Obviously, we see people on meat hooks again.
Yeah, I
So
mean...
we see him cut the face off.
Yeah. Yep. It is gnarly.
It's absolutely
hell.
gnarly. And this again, so many scenes in this that make me uncomfortable. When I've been watching like the 2013, 2022, all it did was make me want to rewatch this because it's such a better film.
It is. It's just very, very well done. I think the acting is great as well, to be honest. One thing that did confuse me initially when we started watching it was, to me, it wasn't very clear if it was set in the 70s or not.
I think they were trying to go for that. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Ultimately, it is set in the 70s, But yeah, I think just the fashion alone, you don't really get that impression right away. But we are, for all intents and purposes, back in the 70s.
Also, this did do well enough to get they did a prequel to it.
Yeah, they
Which
did
did
do a
do as
prequel,
well.
which I haven't seen either.
I have. It's not as good.
Yeah.
Personally, the showdown in this film is.
Oh yes, it is.
We finally see the slaughterhouse. Leatherface is she's hiding in meat.
Yeah, for the famously vegan Jessica Biel.
Yeah,
that wouldn't have been fun for her.
Well, they couldn't afford to get enough fake carcasses, so they had to use a lot of real ones. And
great chase sequence.
Oh god.
Yeah.
And she puts up a bit of a fight.
Oh, she puts up a great fight. I mean, there's a great scene where she leads him into this like locker room, and she hides in one of them, and he knows she's there, but he's trying to hear her, and he actually walks past her, and she calls him back. Because she knows her only chance of getting out of there is to hurt him in some way.
Yeah.
She knows she doesn't stand a chance in hell if she's just continuously like running from this fully abled man. So she calls him back, surprises him with a cleaver, and chops off his arm.
Yeah.
She actually succeeds in chopping off his arm.
Why they had to do a prequel, really.
It's his chainsaw arm as well. Oh yeah, that's true.
And not talked on half the stuff that happens in this film, but it's just for a reboot. It's just
the kills are great.
Yeah, it doesn't take anything away from the original, and it's so good. It's good enough to stand on its own as a horror classic.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those weird instances as well where, yes, technically it is a reboot, but it also potentially works as a sequel because these are not the same characters from the original movie.
No, it could actually be a sequel.
It could, in theory, be, and yeah, the characters are actually memorable in this film as well.
I quite like the expansion of Leatherface's family.
Yeah.
Who are just as messed up as he is.
Just as messed up as he is. I mean, this kind of raises the question of Leatherface is like, yes, he is the villain of the movies, of all the movies.
Is he the most evil person in this family?
Yeah. And then something that a lot of the sequels tend to do is raise the question of how sympathetic are we meant to feel for this guy? Yeah.
He is terrifying in this film, though. Like, he's so intimidating. He's so big.
There's something weird about just like the cumbersomeness of him. Like it just adds to the whole. Yeah, just really like this massive guy just chasing after you, even without a chainsaw. That's still intimidating.
See, it has a bit more of a plot, and it's not as perfect as the original movie is.
No.
But I think it makes up for it. Like I said, it introduced basically the torture porn of Saw and Hostel would not have happened without this film.
No.
The scenes anything with fingernails I can't do. I won't put the clip in because that means I've got to search for it. It's like when one's dragging the guy downstairs and you see the fingernails rip. No. I can't do that.
No fingernail action.
No fingernails. And like we're just trying to get him off the meat hook. And he's missing a leg.
She accidentally makes it worse.
Accidentally makes it worse and he's like, just kill me. There's so much blood.
We have a kill where Leatherface hoists someone up. I think it's on a chandelier, and he kills him with the chainsaw groin upwards.
Yeah, we got
not a quick death.
We got on the Blu-ray list. We got a lot of the deleted scenes, which was, I think the MPAA probably cut down a bit. We had an alternate opening and ending as well, which showed the lead character in a psych ward telling the story. I think what they went with was better, which was the police report.
Yeah, I personally do as well.
But extended version of his death.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we also, talking about the Sawyers in this film, we were introduced to female Sawyers. Lady Sawyers. The tea lady in the
a baby.
They have taken
the woman
the baby.
At the very beginning had a baby.
The hitchhiker, which I think might explain why she might have been all very, bloodied in the legs, as she's recently had a baby. Who has been kidnapped and is now being raised in the Sawyer clan. And Jessica Biel realizes that this is a stolen baby, and it just adds
so
to
that makes her more of a. We can't call Sally a final girl in the original. Jessica Biel is a final girl.
Yeah, we've been with her all the way in this film.
Yeah,
and even the way she gets the sheriff as well.
Oh god,
that's a great bit of editing actually. Because it makes it feel like she's in a truck that he is swiftly heading towards, and he's going to get her. She's actually in the cop car. So when he opens the truck door, she's obviously not there, and he's hit with her behind the wheel of the police car.
Yeah, it's just it's a really great bit of filmmaking, and
It actually is. It is.
to be done on such a for the time, such a small budget.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too how the first one is notoriously not very gory, but still, a very unique film, memorable film. This one went in the opposite way and decided to really kind of hone in on what perhaps Tobe Hooper couldn't do back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And it's still really good.
The cinematography is so good.
Yeah, but I also...
there's some of the best looking shots in the franchise are in that film.
It's like, for me, gore is not particularly scary, but this film, it has that great bit of tension and suspense that makes it scary.
You feel the pain.
Yeah.
That's coming from these wounds.
It is horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a great film, and it kind of kick-started a very interesting time in horror.
Yeah.
In the 2000s.
Do you have any more notes on this film?
No, not especially. Oh, actually, no, I have an interesting tidbit of information. So, Andrew Bronowski, who plays Leatherface in this, turns out there was an unfortunate bit of animosity between him and Gunnar Hansen.
I don't feel like I know this, people.
No, initially everything was fine. Gunnar Hansen, I think, gave Andrew his seal of approval. And then subsequently, when the film was released, I think Gunnar Hansen said something quite disparaging about Bronowski's performance. And Andrew responded to that on social media, saying that, well, what does he know anyway? Don't understand why he said this. And when Gunnar Hansen, unfortunately, passed away in 2015, I think, Andrew Bronowski tweeted something that was a bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
Or I think he just said, "Oh, boo-hoo," or something like that in response to the news of Gunnar's death. And it was just a bit... That's a shame. It's a shame. Feels like there was a bit of animosity there in the end.
I wonder what his issue was with the performance.
I don't know. But I do kind of like the idea that even though Gunnar Hansen pretty much removed himself from acting and, filmmaking in the end, I do like the idea that he is just, in his home watching all these Texas Chainsaw movies, just silently judging all the Leatherfaces.
He didn't play Leatherface after the first one.
No, he did not. And the only film he returns to is the 2013 one.
Yeah.
In a very small cameo.
Maybe just because, again, you instantly are less sympathetic with this incarnation of Leatherface.
Perhaps.
There's less of those moments that show him as a deeper character. I think the benefits of this one is it shows the more family aspect. I mean, you can kind of see Leatherface is quite low on the pecking order of this family.
Yeah, that's true. But who knows?
But who knows? I really enjoy this film.
I
struggle
great
to
film.
watch it casually just because of certain scenes in it.
Yes.
But as far as reboots go,
it's pretty
fantastic
special.
And a really strong start for Platinum Dunes.
It is, yeah. I highly recommend this movie.
So the sequel, it had a bigger budget, but they had to pay more than they expected to retain the rights.
Mm-hmm.
So their budget was like double the amount it was for the first one, and it only made half the amount. So it still made money.
Definitely still made money.
Nowhere near the success. When the 2013 one says it was a box office smash, no, 2003 was a box office smash.
It really was. And then you think of its legacy as well. Yeah. Which I know we will expand on.
Basically, the next 10 years of horror, it's basically come back down to that film.
Started with this movie. It started off that trend in super gory slasher films.
Yeah.
It started with Texas Chainsaw 2003.
It's like the original Texas Chainsaw started the slasher trend.
Yeah.
It's basically
paved the way.
Paved the way for it. And the 2003 one.
Yeah.
Made way for the torture porn. And then the 2013 one was the first requel.
Yeah. Texas Chainsaw is responsible for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but it also has a lot of really bad sequels, which we will touch on at some point in the future.
We will at some point.
Some point. It must say something, the fact that we can't remember any of the characters' names, but somehow we're still really fond of their performances.
Yeah, I remember the guy called Morgan who has the sideburns, and he's the one that gets his groin.
Yeah, he gets split up the scrotum.
Yeah, I also remember her boyfriend's name is called Kemper, which
Oh,
I remember.
Kemper,
Yeah, which I just thought was interesting because obviously there is the serial killer Edmund Kemper,
yeah.
and I think that was like a little
Yeah,
nod.
he wears Kemper's face is the one he wears.
Yeah. I can't remember Jessica. Just let me have a quick. Erin. Yeah.
Erin, yeah. So we follow Erin, well, Jessica Biel.
Follow Jessica Biel's. Yeah.
Right, so she is fantastic, and
She
you're
is.
rooting for her the entire way.
Yeah, and you know what? She gives a great performance as
really
well.
does. Great standing up for this mountain of a man.
Oh, God, yeah. 6'4" he was.
That's it. I think, if anything, he's a bit more intimidating than Gunnar Hansen was. But I think it's also just the way he's framed as a character.
Yeah, I think so.
They played into a lot of like the ferocity and the speed that he moves.
Yeah.
Gunnar Hansen is fantastic as Leatherface.
Yeah.
When you see the depth behind the character.
Yeah.
As far as like almost like a machine.
Yes.
He moves a beast.
Yeah. There's something
Leatherface
just.
in this film.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
And we get a bit of a reason as to why he wears the mask, but it moves away from the want to wear women's clothes, the makeup. It abandons a lot of that. Abandons the cannibalism.
Yes.
They're definitely killing people,
Yeah.
but it's not very clear in the film if they are eating them.
If they are eating them, and again,
But we do see from the car graveyard they've killed a lot of people.
a lot of people. Yeah.
So I know in the one afterwards, there's a bit of an origin behind the sheriff. I don't think he was actually officially the sheriff. If I remember correctly, because it's been a very long time, I think he killed the previous sheriff and just took his name. I think.
Okay.
I don't think at the beginning, which is what it's called, I don't think it's as good a film as...
No, I mean,
we do see how he gets his original face in it, but it's not as good a film as 2003, and like the box office kind of shows that.
So there's the 2003 one, and then it has a prequel.
Prequel, yeah.
And those two films sort of exist in their own
timeline.
Yeah. Okay, I see. I'll watch it one day.
Yeah,
Slowly getting my way through.
Slowly.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
On the note of this kickstarting the next 10 years of horror, next week we're doing not one particular film. We're doing a topic. We're gonna talk about reboots.
Yes.
We'll talk about how this was the first reboot and what it went on to inspire, and what a reboot actually is, what it needs to be.
Yeah. How is it defined?
How successful were they, and
when did
where
they
are
stop?
we now?
Yeah.
When did they... I don't think they ever really stopped, but there was definitely a time where like there was lots, and then there was...
And then they just kind of slowly faded away. Yeah, but they never really truly gone away.
They never truly gone away.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thanks for stopping by. I said,
yeah.
Comment below. Have you seen this movie? Let us know what you think about it. Because I know there's a lot of people that still kind of disregard it or don't like it because it's so violent, or because it dared to
be different.
It dared to recreate the original.
But
it's different. I see this film as it's similar enough to pay respect, but different enough that this film stands on its own. And how many reboots can say that?
Yeah. I think what we're also finding now, aren't we, that films that, we remember but is now by definition kind of nostalgic because of how old they are, we are now finding a lot more favour with them.
Yeah.
When you compare them to a lot of films that are being made today. It's weird, it's strange how it sort of works, how the tables turn a little bit.
The reboot era is a good experiment.
Very
for
interesting.
What worked and what didn't.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So yeah, we will see you next week for the
reboots
discussion. And that'll be the last time we talk about Texas Chainsaw for a little while.
For a bit.
Because I know you really want to do Texas Chainsaw Massacre too, because you've not seen it.
I have not seen the direct sequel.
Yeah.
In the 80s. Because that's also Toby Hooper, right?
That's also Toby Hooper, and it's basically like a...
comedy.
The poster's basically the Breakfast Club with killers.
Yeah, it is.
It's very, very different.
Oh, I'm excited for that.
But it's so different.
You had me at Breakfast Club.
You had me at breakfast. So, fairly well, guys. We will see you next week.
Bye.